Welcome back to Starladder Season 10 coverage. The Gauntlet of Power Rangers here on Day 15 continues on. Up next, they're facing AlbumSheet. We're in the draft and ready to rock and roll, and hopefully they can redeem themselves after that untimely defeat against Team Secret. I'm Zyori, joined again by Gods. Gods, any words of wisdom for Power Rangers coming into their second game of the day?
Not really. No, I don't think they need my wisdom, but
They need
if it was
something.
being directed to them, I would have to probably translate it into Russian. So
Is that what they speak in Belarus?
I was about to ask you. I feel very culturally ignorant. What is the primary language of Belarus?
I really don't know. I've never heard of a root language with Belarus, like
Ah,
Belarusian or something. I don't think that's a
I'm all
language.
over Wikipedia, man. This is as soon as I was about to say that, I was like, I don't know if it's the official language, but I'm going to say it anyway. So there's Russian and also Belarusian or Belarusian.
Belarusian. Okay, so
Both
there is a
both
Belarus
are
language.
official languages. Yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
imagine
look at
Belarusian
that.
is very closely related to Russian, but
Well, look at that. We learned something today. That's good news. Power Rangers. They grabbed the
Radiant
Morph.
team pick.
Why did I say Morphling? They grabbed Death Prophet and Vengeful Spirit. AlbumSheet, they pick up the Faceless Void, Skywrath duo. We've seen that opener quite a bit. No big surprise there. And they'll follow up with the Wraith King for their second
Dire
support.
team pick.
Right now, AlbumSheet, they have actually an extra stand-in with them today. Right now, they are running Big Num and Shomi. Then we'll recognize Ink Visitor as their kind of standard stand-in here. Then we've got Bob back with us, and the new guy, Axmo, who I'm actually not familiar with.
I've seen his name around. I think maybe just either from past Starladders or from just some pub games, but yeah, I recognize his name, but I
10
can't really
seconds
tell you much
remaining.
beyond that. So we'll see how they do, but it's never a good sign when you've got a few too many
5
stand-ins.
seconds
But as you
remaining.
said, two of them are regular stand-ins, so
Yeah.
more just Axmo who's been added for today's
Reserve
match.
time.
Yep. And Power Rangers, they've got their full roster once again. We Just Zik is their consistent stand-in that'll be with them here once more. So Power Rangers taking their time as this draft continues to unfold. Still nothing too crazy. The
Radiant
Vengeful
team
Spirit, as
pick.
we've seen, just works so damn well against the Faceless Void. And now Power Rangers grab the Bat Rider, a hero that we see
Ooh.
intermittently, but that'll be their offlaner.
Yeah, I like the Batrider whenever it gets picked up. Navi were running a lot of it for a while, with Funnick, of course, being one of the best Batrider players. But there's a few teams who run the Batrider, and then the teams who don't just never run it. Like they just never consider it for an offlaner. So it's good to see Power Rangers happy
10
to
seconds
snag it up.
remaining.
Pretty good, well, fantastic, obviously in the initiation department. Does have to be a
5
bit careful
seconds
when it
remaining.
comes to who he's initiating on, because there's a lot of good burst damage that can just
Reserve
destroy
time.
the Batrider if he ever gets caught in any sort of a counter disable.
Yeah, I think Bat Rider's actually in a pretty good place right now. He's still pretty powerful and ridiculous in the hands of a really
Yeah.
talented Bat Rider player, but he's no longer that just easy peasy, let me sit in the lane, get in a fast blink dagger, and find easy lassos. He takes a little bit more finesse to execute with now, and his mana is a little bit more difficult to manage. So I'm actually pretty happy with the Bat Rider.
All right, well. The other thing with Power Rangers, the Vengeful Spirit pick again, like traditionally you say it's a support, but they've run it twice recently as a safe lane farmer. So maybe once again we get that farming Vengeful Spirit. It would mean they
Dire
need to pick up a
team
couple
pick.
of supports here. So we'll get
Yeah.
a better idea when we see their next few picks.
Yeah, still quite a few available in the pool. The Earthshaker is here, which may be something they want to consider. You mentioned yesterday. He can be a pretty good tool against the Faceless Void, just with that long-range stun to try and slow him up when he brings out the Chronosphere. And in those rare occasions, you can even totally block him out and mitigate some of the damage that he can commence while the Chronosphere bubble is on the field.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
still a lot of options for Power Rangers. AlbumSheet with the Marana, Wraith King,
5
Skywrath
seconds. 5
trio.
seconds
And
remaining.
will probably be a farming Wraith King if
Reserve
history
time.
serves as any kind of an indicator here, but certainly some flexibility across those three heroes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to quickly restart my Dota 2, as apparently people can't hear me in Dota TV. My mic's being picked up, so I'm going to quickly restart and
Give it
rejoin
the
you in
old
this
restart.
draft in just a second. Yeah.
Blaze was having issues last week,
Oh.
where same thing, where on his end it was picking up the mic, and I think for him a
Yeah.
sort of unmute, remute fixed it, so maybe the reset will.
I did that, but like I mean, I didn't wait for it to kick in, so who knows? Maybe it works, maybe it didn't. But I'll restart anyways, just to be on the safe side. But yeah,
Okay.
my audio tab says it's picking up. But
Yeah.
anyways, what's going on in the draft, Zary?
Not much. Power Rangers burning most of their reserve time trying to figure out what they want to do with this 4th pick, perhaps deliberating about that Vengeful Spirit. Will she be a core? Will she be a support? Only time will tell. They've got 25 seconds left, and Rasta has been banned out, but still quite a few other supports they could go for here. Who else have Power Rangers been running in the support role? Crap, who did they even have last game?
The Bane? They love
the Bane. Oh, yes, the
yeah.
Bane. How could I forget about the Bane? But, ooh, they'll grab Morphling here. So,
okay.
Looks doubtful to be a core Venge this time.
Yeah. No, it does. It's, yeah, pretty much not going to happen. You could run the Batrider in the jungle, but you've got no offlaner. This has to be a support Venge, so... We'll see what Power Rangers last pick, but it'll probably just be some support to go with their trialing to round off the Venge more.
I was thinking Wisp could be an option here. Power Rangers did run the Morphling Wisp a couple days ago. AlbumSheet have done their homework here, and they will ban him out. So smart,
good ban.
Yeah, smart choice there. And you know, is jungling Batrider at level 1 even really that viable right now? Multiple people have told me it's not what it used to be, and really you need to at least hit level 2 as a bare minimum before you can really jungle all that effectively.
Yep. No, I definitely agree. You really can't jungle this here. It's kind of like how you can jungle Axe. You really can't jungle Axe. Like, these are not actual viable junglers. Even if your various pub players of different levels, even high level pub players will occasionally run these heroes in the jungle.
Yeah. You can retreat to the jungle after you've gotten a decent start in the lane, got a couple core items, but just going straight into the jungle, level 1 out of the gate with starting items, yeah, not so easy. But Power Rangers, they ban out the Invoker with their 5th ban. AlbumSheet will deliberate a bit here, but they will need a mid-hero. And Viper has been banned out, one that has traditionally worked pretty well against the Death Prophet.
5 seconds remaining.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if I maybe didn't join the slot in game. I hope that didn't happen. Pretty sure I joined the slot.
Jesus.
I have no idea. I just joined the lobby. I mean, I joined this lobby half an hour ago when it was hosted, but I'm pretty sure I joined the slot. But
well, you can.
We'll figure out soon enough.
Yeah, you could pull up the game on the ticket and see if your name is on the manifest there. It's one way to check.
Yeah. Well, wait another minute or so. Let us know, Twitch chat, what's going on, and hopefully we'll fix it. But last pick for AlbumSheet, I like the Invoker ban. I think Visitor's been the one who's been playing a lot of Invoker for them over the past few days. He likes to run the Exort Invoker, and neither team. Well, no, actually, when we're talking about neither team, AlbumSheet don't have their solo mid unless they're going to be running a solo mid Skywrath or something, which is it's doable.
It's pretty viable, but I haven't seen anybody really do it except Dendy. He is the only person that has been running it like semi-consistently, and even with that said, it hasn't been a hell of a lot. It will be a support here though. It's AlbumSheet pick up the Bruiser, the big Outworld Devourer. Whoa. You don't see him too frequently these days. And Treant Protector, the second support for PR.
Okay, I like this support. There's already so little pushing power on AlbumSheet. You throw in a Treant. There's no threat of your towers really going down in the first 5-10 minutes. I mean, I say that now. I hope I don't regret saying that. So by the time any sort of items are picked up for AlbumSheet to push with just off their sheer items, Treant's level 7, and he can heal off any damage. So AlbumSheet, like, this game could go really badly for them, and they may just knock in a tower. At the same time, if they've got great team fight, they've got the Void Skywrath combo, you can throw Miranda arrows into the Chronosphere as well. So there is a lot of team fight and just ganking potential from the team, and that's the only way they're going to bring down towers is with like 3 to 5 Power Rangers heroes dead.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. Even though we think of Treant as a great anti-push hero, he doesn't really shine against lineups that have a huge amount of push because he doesn't stop flash pushing very well. But where he really shines are lineups like this, where there is no sort of damage over time on towers, no Jakiro, no Dragonite, anything like that just eats through the living armor, and they can sort of flash push towers as 5, but the living armor will significantly hinder their pushing experience, and I really do like the Treant pick here as well. And Power Rangers seem to be in an okay position here. They've got, I don't know if they quite have the late game secured, but they can take it late with the Morphling and the Death Prophet, and they have that pushing advantage, so should be an interesting matchup here. This is one of the more even matchups. AlbumSheet is one of those teams that on paper might not look too scary, but they've been upsetting some teams, and the bets are semi-even, 62% for Power Rangers, 38% for AlbumSheet. So should be a good one. Looking at lanes, it looks like it will be an off-lane Void for AlbumSheet. Chomi will be headed mid, still sponsored by Reebok there. I don't know what that's all about. Why is he always tagged up his Reebok?
Why not, man? We had a stand-in who was tagged up as Jack Daniels or something. So
Yeah, that was Weck yesterday.
yep, yeah,
Weck
man.
Jack Daniels. Yeah.
I need to get in touch with his people because I need a Jack Daniels sponsor.
Yeah,
BTS needs a
seriously.
Jack Daniels sponsor. So if
Yeah.
anyone knows people or knows people who know some people, get us in touch. We're all about the Jack Daniels. Definitely K-pop Toasters will be happy about that one.
Yeah, most definitely. Will be a safe lane try with Big Num supporting on the Wraith King, Bob supporting on the Skywrath Mage, and it looks like Ink Visitor will be that position 1 Mirana, leaving PR with an offlane Cheshire Cat Bat Rider and Shotshlow solo mid on the Death Prophet once more. I feel like this has been like all Shotshlow has been playing recently. If they can find it, they'll grab the DP and throw him mid. And oh my gosh, I'm looking at him mid and I missed the kill down bottom. That's terrible. But first blood on the Bat Rider. Well, looks like a safe lane try for Power Rangers. Pretty straightforward lanes from them. Moon on the position 1 Morphling. We just stick on the Trian and J4 on the Vengeful Spirit. And yeah, Radiant did put a nice Observer lane ward down here, so makes things even more difficult for the Bat Rider. Oh, up top, we'll see Axmo initiated upon. Leech Seed comes out, but he's got a Time Walk. He should be A-okay despite taking a lot of damage. That big leafy Treant boots first, branching him down, but not enough damage for the kill.
Yeah. It's good to try and zone him out as much as possible at level 1. Force out the mana. Well, you haven't forced any mana use, but force out the regen, so the salve as well as a single tango. And if he ever does try to get too adventurous, they want to punish it. Yeah.
He came prepared, but already a rotation from AlbumSheet, Skywrath and Wraith King coming towards the mid lane. And OD, usually a hero that fares pretty well against intellect heroes in general, and DP is certainly one of them. We can see it on the last hit chart. 7 and 6 on Show Me versus the 2 and 1 Death Prophet. Shotshlow is not off to a good start here.
Yeah, I think ganking DP is just so crucial. It's one of those mid heroes which you just do not know how to get off to a good start. Get the early levels. If you can get early kills on DP, it's not a good comeback hero. You fall behind. Taking towers is a possibility, but if you're behind on items from the get-go, it's so hard to take towers if you're a squishy DP because you rely on your survivability to not get burst down.
Yeah. Well, they will have Living Armor to help her out, as we talked about yesterday. That first point in Living Armor, not so potent, but still gives Shotshlow that little extra bout of regeneration. He did go for the max stat build here with 3 branches, so only 2 pulled tangos. Is a little bit limited on the regeneration front. Bat Rider, though, he's the one struggling a lot. He's only level 1, so still can't retreat to the jungle and find that recovery farm. Great lane control from AlbumSheet. They have their pull camp open, so they can control this lane pretty darn easily. Treant is stacking up in the jungle here, so at least Bat Rider will have something to retreat to once he finds that baseline of experience.
Yeah. And it's now pushed out enough that he gets his level 2. Void, similar story. He actually hasn't even hit his level 2 yet. So both tri-lanes doing a very effective job at zoning out the off-laners, and you definitely should expect it. With both teams having really strong support duos that can have a lot of high killing potential, that's where these off-laners should not be getting experience or farm in lane if you're running tri-lanes.
Yep, Chomi's still just dominating this mid lane, though. And even though they didn't gank Shotshlow, this is a big problem. And OD is just so good at dealing with DP, because as we saw in the last game, even if she's up in a 2v1 and getting kind of zoned out and maybe even takes a couple of spills, she's still a hero that can bottle crow very effectively and spam those crypt swarms. And with the intellects or intelligence steal, makes that a lot more difficult. Doesn't have that same big beefy mana pool to rely on, and she will finally have a bottle coming out, but still very limited in what she can do. And with 8 CS compared to the 18 of the OD, this is already a rough story. And also the denies are not something to scoff at. OD's level 5, and DP is still actually only halfway to level 4, doing okay, but those denies will start to add up.
Yeah, and doesn't get the rune as well. Void takes that one from the top lane. Death Prophet's probably kind of hoping he could get that. He can bottle crow, but Death Prophet with some early runes does help quite a bit. But as you said, getting crushed by an OD mid, DP is just going to really struggle this game in a lot of ways. I feel like PR need to maybe start considering some ganks towards the mid lane, because otherwise Chomi's just going to get out of hand on the OD.
Yeah. As you mentioned, both teams doing a good job zoning out the offlaners, and Axmo finding some free experience here with this invisibility rune. Still 3 tangos left.
Bottom lane.
Whoa, he gets hit by another arrow. Cheshire Cat once again. Mirana seems to be the bane to the Cheshire Cat, him and the Power Rangers experience in general. Last game they were just arrow magnets, and Cheshire Cat's already caught 2 of them.
Man, Mirana, one of those heroes which is just so dependent on landing like big arrows. Otherwise, the hero just isn't very good. It's not a good support or a good carry if you're not landing arrows. But when you're hitting those long distance arrows, it's just an amazing hero.
Yeah. Up top, Moon and J4 pressuring back the Void once again, and they actually force out the first glyph as they shove this creep wave into the tower, have a siege engine for some extra damage, and now the rotation from Trian around the backside. He's level 3, second point in the living armor, but so that first leech seed might be enough to really pressure this Void hard. They will connect with a magic missile. There's your waveform, and they don't even need the tree. They'll be able to bring him down as just a duo.
Yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes teams underestimate their killing power with just a couple of heroes. Like in a scenario like that, he didn't get any backtracks. Doesn't even have any points in the backtrack at this point, so no value point there. And with that kill, it's a T1 tower top. There was rotations up here, and it looks like they want to try to defend.
Yeah, big rotations. Moon trying to commit to the tower, but he just can't bring it down. We just Zik hanging around too long. Will get picked off. Moonlight Shadow deployed to boot, and now Moon on the defensive. No mana for a waveform, but we'll be able to just float away. He does have power treads up already, so decent movement speed there, and rather tanky. Tower will be denied, so the big rotation from AlbumSheet does prove successful, at least somewhat, as they deny that first bit of tower momentum.
Yeah. No, so for AlbumSheet, definitely worth the TPs, I'd say. Getting the kill as well as the deny. You don't want to let Morph get too much complete out of free farm, and it just gives the Void a bit of space there to maybe control this wave a bit better. But I like what PR do. As soon as they push the T1 tower, they go for the pull. J4 pulls the wave back, and suddenly Void still can't farm. You can't use the fact that he lost his tower to farm further back with the wave. Nice play by J4. I mean, it's fairly common to see this, but a lot of times teams get a bit sloppy with it.
Yeah. And even down bottom, AlbumSheet tried to commence some tower pushing of their own to make it a tower-for-tower exchange, but they didn't finish it off, and Treant will go right to healing it up. And if they don't group up and try and flash push that down, it will end up back at full HP. Shotchlo in the mid will get initiated upon as he finds Axmo, but who's the one that really gets jumped on here? Shotchlo is level 6, no point in the exorcism, and will stand his ground as support is inbound. And Void will be forced to time walk away. So Shotchlo, still 18 CS compared to the 43 of the OD. Chomi very handily won this lane, now a full level up on the Death Prophet. But at least DP hasn't died. That is something. Maybe not much, but steps in the right direction, certainly compared to last game.
To me, the biggest worry for AlbumSheet is this Void just level 4, can't really find the lane to get his level 6. Top lane's pushed out, he's got no tower for protection, so he's unwilling to farm top. And the Batrider, who's kind of his counterpart, is level 6. He just farmed the jungle stack, and he has that ability to fall back to the jungle, which Void does not have.
Oh, we just Zik down bottom. He'll try to defend the tower, but it's an easy dive. Slow tree and ends up being an easy kill, and now Void time walks over. This will be a tower to go down. Mirana gets the last hit, and AlbumSheet will find a victory in that disparity across the towers, and they actually have a decent lead. 2,000 gold, about 750 experience. Tower advantage helping out, but also just looking at raw CS, they're top in the charts. Mirana is the last hit leader right now, just about 10 up on the position 1 Morphling on the side of PR.
Yeah, this Mirana, at this point, I mean, you see carry Miranas from some teams, but now that you've got all this early farm and levels, I think they need to use this Mirana quite actively. Give the Void the safe lane, which they've done. Axmo needs to get his level 6 and even needs some items. Like, you want to try to get even just treads up, Mask of Madness, Midas, whatever it may be, so you can start dealing damage in your Chronosphere. Without that attack speed, the Chronosphere just, I mean, it's nice because you can Skyrat, so you can get kills even without having a lot of items on Void, but Void still is not even close to his level. I guess he's just hit level 5, but this is going to be a really late level 6 for Axmo.
Yeah, and I'm still a bit surprised to see Void's doing this build where you totally skip backtrack. I don't know. It's just, we talked about it a lot yesterday. I don't want to harp on it too much, but certainly worth a value point even if you don't want to commit to it. Hard to make a case that any extra point in time walk or time lock is better than that 10% mega dodge. This Void will...
It's just like a maximizing your damage output kind of build, but
yeah,
like as you say, like just getting on 1 point can be very valuable at times. Yeah. Could save your life, so you never know.
Moon in the top lane will get silenced. A very potent ability against Morphling. Won't be able to morph the strength, but they don't have the burst to bring him down. Inkvisitor connects with a point-blank arrow, but he will survive with a few hit points to spare as he starts morphing that strength. Also takes that global living armor and will make it out. So that's essentially a wasted Moonlight Shadow and some good news for Power Rangers. Bat Rider is now retreated to the jungle, sitting level 7, just about 2,000 gold, so he's well on his way to a decently timed Blink Dagger here, making a good recovery after a 0-2 opener in the off lane. So something good for Power Rangers to help control these tempos and maybe pick on this OD a little bit. Chomi went straight for a Midas. Very first item, even before boots.
Yeah, he's had this Midas for some time. He's level 9 already. His top CS with the Mirana, and Death Prophet is sitting on 31 CS, half of the OD CS. This Death Prophet is in Struggle Town.
Yeah, and OD is one of those heroes that normally is forced to go for a 4-staff or a mech pretty much ASAP because he's a hero that tends to be susceptible to ganks, no escape mechanism until he gets one of those tanky or mobility items. And here, if you can let him get away with this super greedy build, that's where OD is one of those heroes that just looks completely broken. He's a really strong late gamer, but when you have farm like this, his mid game is certainly not something to scoff at, and he will just move into a 4-staff as he picks up the initial staff of wizardry. Up top, Moon will take a silence. Wraithfire Blast, arrow to boot, will start morphing to strength. Do they have the damage? This time it'll be close, but he will survive. Bat Rider's here with the blink and will connect with a lasso onto Ink Visitor. He'll be repelled as he leaps to safety. Instead, they switch over to the Sky Wrath. He'll fall. Now Shotchlow comes over, connects with a Crypt Swarm, and it will be a 2-for-0 going the other way. The second time they try to bring down that Morphling, and he's just a little bit too tanky. That early farm paid off, and they can't bring him down.
It's one of the few times where Skywrath, you'd almost say, like, this is a game where you should maybe be max. If you want to gank the Morphling, you should be maxing Ancient Seal over the Arcane Bolt just for the extra duration, because the short duration at level 1 Ancient Seal is what's made them not get both of those kills. Sure, you have less damage output because your Arcane Bolt has a much longer cooldown at level 1, but the magic damage is coming from the Mirana. Mirana's level 8 with max Starstorm, so with longer Ancient Seal, that's also more magic damage amplification. They would have gotten, I think both of those kills would have actually succeeded with the 1-1-3 build instead. I mean, it's definitely the stronger build going 3-1-1 in general, but with this build, they just can't kill the Morphling. So I think they need to find someone else to gank if they want to use this Skywrath Mage build.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You can't have it both ways. You either go for the 3-1-1 and focus your efforts on ganking the Death Prophet and other heroes that are more susceptible to the burst damage, or you commit to the Ancient Seal and focus your efforts on the Morphling. And here he's trying to have his cake and eat it too, and it's backfired. First time Morphling just survived, and that time was more of a true backfire where they concede some unnecessary deaths. Now AlbumSheet will try to find recovery by grouping up in the mid lane. All 5 heroes will rotate as they start pressuring this tower pretty hard. DP is now level 8 and does have that first point in Exorcism, so there is potential for Power Rangers to take a fight here. Though AlbumSheet will be repelled, Big Num just heads to the top lane to stop the Morphling from chipping away at that tier 2 tower. And they will kind of do a fake back here as they regroup and continue to press on. Cheshire Cat is smoked up, Blink Dagger and Lasso at the ready, and could isolate someone here pretty easily. Outworld Devour is still not really in fighting form. Handamitis is kicking in, but
stuff coming, I think.
Still not really there. Oh, he has the 4-staff complete.
He has his
there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can theoretically save a teammate or himself or someone who gets... you can't 4-staff during the lasso, but afterwards you can.
Rono onto J4. Mystic Flare flies through, and that will be the end of the Vengeful Spirit, but Chomi, he gets caught inside of the lasso. Moonlight Shadow deployed. He gets off a defensive Astral, but he should fall as soon as he pops out of it. His 4-staff is on cooldown, and down he goes. That'll make it a 1-for-1. OD for the support Vengeful Spirit. Certainly not what AlbumSheet were looking for, and they will just spread around the map and go back to farming.
Yeah, good use of the lasso. Had the 4-staff, but was just too low by the time the lasso was over, and the turn rate was really what got him. He tried to turn to 4-staff, but it took so long to turn with the Batrun and Daypub. Even just the one stick charge really screws over your turn rate, and as a result, he just took too much damage. So, good start for PR with the Blink Dagger and the Batrun. They really needed that. Death Prophet didn't get to use the ultimate, hasn't been able to push or pressure many towers yet, so that's kind of the one maybe slight concern for Power Rangers. But they're versing a team who has very little pushing power of their own, so they're not really going to be in danger of having AlbumSheet snowball out of control because of that.
Yeah, man, just as you say, that Exorcism will be utilized in the mid lane here, and Shotchlow is actually recovering decently. He has picked up 2 hero kills, and as I say that, he'll get jumped on, takes the Wraithfire Blast, the OD ultimate flies through. That's enough to bring him down. Big Num now taking a lot of damage, has the reincarnation, and will come right back to life. We just Zick will get clicked down. Now Moon forced to waveform away, and AlbumSheet will take a successful team fight here. A 2-for-0 trade as they defend their tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, down bottom, Cheshire Cat finds a pickoff onto the Skywrath Mage. J4 will try to TP home. Ink Visitor with an arrow will connect to interrupt it. and that will make it basically a 1-for-3 across the map.
Yeah, the extra pickups going AlbumSheet's way, and they got a bit too greedy with that mid-tower push. This is where Death Prophet having such a rough time in the laning stage really kind of costs you, because Death Prophet doesn't really have any items whatsoever. If you get the Yule Scepter, you're a lot better off there. He couldn't actually respond to the arrow. The arrow was shot perfectly over the tree line, such that as soon as it got into vision, it was too late. It already hit him. That's where maybe you could Yules react to it, but it was just a good hold from AlbumSheet, and just showing kind of the weakness of Death Prophet when it comes to these early pushes.
Yeah. Now OD #1 on net worth by a pretty big margin here. That early Midas is really paying dividends, and Courier delivering out some power treads for him, so upping that intelligence even more, and also giving him some tankiness there. Ink Visitor on the farming Mirana is looking pretty good, well on her way to a Maelstrom. Stopped off for a Bracer, didn't complete the drums, and now just set of gloves away before getting some Chain Lightnings out on the field. On the way of PR, still not much in the way of core items. Death Prophet working on the Yule Scepter, but not quite there. We'll see a wraparound, and Chomi gets caught inside of the lasso in the mid lane. Moonlight Shadow deployed. Flame Break actually helps him out a little bit. Still falls to the Crypt Swarm, and now Big Num will get caught in the Overgrowth. And it's a 2-for-0 going the other way. PR will be rewarded for their struggles with the Tier 1 tower kill. Although the Glyph comes out. Uh-oh. Void's here with a Chrono. J4 caught inside of the Mystic Flare once more, and they'll be repelled. Tower's in deny range. DP pops the Exorcism. Will press forward. A lot of damage coming out into the Void. Does get that value point in Time Walk. Or, pardon me, backtrack, and is helping him out a little bit. Can they get the deny on the tower? Not quite. Dire will grab the last hit. Power Rangers will get the better of this exchange, conceding only their support Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, good guy J4 swaps the Death Prophet out of the Chronosphere and, well, gives up his own life to save the Death Prophet. And well worth it, because Death Prophet does follow it up with the Tier 1 tower, and that's much needed gold for Power Rangers getting these towers, because it's the Yules for Death Prophet, it's another extra level 10 now for Death Prophet, so getting close to the level 2 ultimate. And just now you can start looking towards your next time. Get the value booster. Just start tanking up as much as possible if you're Sashglow.
Yeah, Moon starting to come online a bit as well. Grabbed himself the ultimate orb and working on the Lincolns. Pretty standard stuff coming out of him. More than halfway there. So once he picks that up, PR will be in much better fighting shape. Still only one tower down for Power Rangers. Glancing at the graphs, 2,000 gold in favor of AlbumSheet, and PR holding on to a very small experience edge. I think Bat Rider has completed his 4-step. Yep, sure has. So always a big item pick up on him. The Blink Dagger is great for some of those initial kills, but really need that fast 4-step to increase your utility and pull people way out of position. Now we'll see this Tier 1 tower get pressured once more by AlbumSheet in the mid lane. And Power Rangers are grouping up to mount a defense. There is a Blink Lasso ready. There is no Exorcism, however. And that
I just don't think AlbumSheet Slam can push.
Yeah.
They have nothing for it. They just maybe think they've got the stronger team fight, but then this happened. And convincing, caught up by the lasso, the silence to follow, and easy pickoffs mid. This is what happens. You go for the push, they realize they can, and then on the retreat, they can just get sniped like that.
Yep. And there's no hope for survival, as DP can get a pretty much sure silence on whoever's stuck in the lasso. So if it's an elusive hero like Mirana, stands to reason she'll be able to make it away. J4 taking a lot of damage from the Skywrath Mage, and from the high ground we'll throw one more bolt, but Living Armor comes out, we'll keep him alive. Void hops forward, Chrono at the ready, but caught inside of the Yules. Now takes a silence, eats a stun, and Axmo will be forced to retreat. Skywrath Mage coming in for the support, but hoping for a free kill with the Chronosphere there, and quick fingers from the DP will deter his efforts.
Well, with the last few fights going Power Rangers ways, we're in for something which we don't get to see much in 6.81, which is a good old-fashioned carry battle. We've got like a farm Morphling up against a farmed OD, and this is going to just become a battle of the big late-game carries. Neither team, well, AlbumSheet especially can't push. Power Rangers definitely can use their Death Prophet and try take down some early towers. And I think that's where I favor Power Rangers, because their carries are going to get the benefit of more tower gold. Roshan as well being on the dire side, and that's where AlbumSheet have to come up with big team fights using the Chronosphere, because I feel like the next few towers are going to be falling on their side. Roshan's going to be falling as well, and Power Rangers Morphling's going to come online with a Lincoln Sphere. Well, I mean, Lincoln Sphere isn't really Morphling coming online, but the E-Blade to follow that most likely, that's where he gets really scary.
Mm-hmm. And it will be a decently timed E-Blade at that, given how good his farm is so far. Big Num on the support Wraith King has gone for this greedier build, and I guess recognizing that it will probably be a longer game, invests in the Hand of Midas now, and we'll try to transition into a bit of a tertiary carry to assist AlbumSheet towards that late game. I think a smart call. Of all the games for your support to grab a Midas, this one seems much warranted, and maybe the double Midas versus nil will give AlbumSheet a little bit of an edge coming up in the next 20-30 minutes as the carries continue to farm. But Power Rangers, they're off to the aggressive. They'll do a 5-hero smoke, rotating through the Radiant jungle. They see Mirana in the mid lane, and Ink Visitor, you're in some trouble, buddy. There's the blink forward, lasso, force staff back, plenty of stuns to follow up, and not a chance for that Priestess of the Moon to survive.
Yeah, I don't know what Ink Visitor's doing there. That wasn't even the fact. That wasn't even the smoke gank. Like, that could have just been Batrider TP to the tier 1 tower and blink lasso, because he was attacking the tier 1 tower. So that didn't even have to be a smoke flank. That was just a really bad spot for him to be in with no teammates anywhere nearby.
Yeah, now a big rotation down towards the bottom lane. Big Num taking some decent damage already, but Shotchlo gets a little help from Chomi there as he gets caught inside the Astral. Exmo comes in with the Chronosphere, but here's Ouija Sick with that overgrowth. Big ulti from the OD, and it's enough to bring down the Vengeful Spirit. AlbumSheet in an okay spot in this fight as the rest of PR is starting to spread about, and they are on the run. Big Num getting low, but still has the reincarnation available. So actually favoring death at this point as Cheshire Cat gets converged upon, and maybe they can bring him down. The Living Armor doing some serious work. He'll make it to the low ground, and he does survive. Now they'll go on the Treant here, and they will be able to bring him down as Void clicks away. Back on the backside of the fight, Moon on the Morphling will get silenced and eventually falls. Power Rangers concede a 0 for 2 in that fight. Actually, a 0 for 3. Venge has already respawned. She was the first to go down. So a good hold from AlbumSheet and nice rotations.
They got really cocky, going like behind the tier 1 tower. Like, the kill on the Mirana mid is incredibly safe because there's no towers nearby to TP to. That bottom fight, you're all up in the enemy's territory, right by a tier 1 as well as a tier 2, and that was just not a good place to be taking a fight for Power Rangers. And
they did get the
just
tower,
overconfident,
though, which is something.
Yeah. I think they thought because Morphling is Linken's Morphling can come fight, but Morphling, like, at this point of the game, a Linken's Morphling doesn't. It gives him a bit of extra survivability, that's sure, but his actual damage output just wasn't there. And PR, their only real damage is going to be the Death Prophet ultimate until Morphling kind of gets his E-Blade. So I think they need to just be careful. Go for pickups with Lasso, but don't go for these big 5v5 engagements.
Yeah. In terms of total tower count, now it is 3-1 in favor of Power Rangers. They're mid-tier 1, taking some damage, but Treant's right there to heal it back up, and making the life of AlbumSheet that much more difficult. Axmo on the Void has gone for his Mask of Madness, Power Treads, Aquila, Poor Man's Shield, all of these great early fighting items. So now he does have a bit more kill potential as that level 2 Chrono comes out, and well, he's got that crazy amount of attack speed to bring down someone perhaps. Roche will get scouted out by an illusion here from the Skywrath Mage. I like the thought process just to make sure that PR aren't moving into the pit. With the Vengeful Spirit, they've got the minus armor they need to take down a pretty fast Roche, especially with that DP Exorcism.
Yeah, and AlbumSheet will have to be very proactive with constantly scouting it out, and also just keeping all their lanes pushed out, because as soon as they have to defend multiple lanes, even if it's not even defending lanes, it's just like, okay, there's quick waves that have tier 2 towers, you're just not being efficient if you're not farming, and that's when PR will sneak into Roshan and take it very quickly. Death Prophet, you've got Venge with the minus armor, Hal, you've got Morphling who can just morph to agility and do a lot of damage, so they've got a really good Roche lineup. Yeah,
bottom lane, they try to initiate onto the Morphling, but he had a replicate out, will be able to jump to it, and only a wasted Mystic Flare, not too bad. Void was smart enough to hold the Chrono and not throw it out, and that'll be the end of it. So now all of a sudden...
They just can't gank him with Skywrath because of the Lincoln Sphere. That blocks the Ancient Seal, and with, I guess you can use an Arcane Bolt to proc it, but as soon as it procs, Morphling replicates out. Like, he's going to be like panic button mode, replicate out whenever his Lincolns gets proc, if he's alone.
Yeah. Cheshire Cat now picks up the Gem of True Sight on the Bat Rider, so they will clear out some of the Radiant wards. And just looking at the Dire vision right now, they have some pretty good vision around the map. They're overlapping their observers here, but giving them some good vision on the high ground on the way to Roche. And oh my gosh, that Roche fell fast. I saw him move into the pit, and before I even moved the camera over, they bring it down. That's like a 10-second Roche.
The Howl and the Vengeur are just really adding up there pretty well, and well, for AlbumSheet, I think that's just something if they didn't accept it before, they had to accept it now. That they couldn't really contest it, and it was just inevitable that Power Rangers would get their hands on that Aegis.
Yep. Now the Tran is scouting things out, gets vision of Axmo as well as Chomi. They ping him, and they seem to be kind of privy to his whereabouts. They throw down a sentry, and he will be forced to overgrowth to make the escape, but Axmo uses the Chrono. Mystic Flare's there. They bring down the Treant to get things started. Moon in the front lines as Linken's gets broken. Moon is the Aegis carrier here, so he'll feel a little more brave. Moonlight Shadow is deployed, but don't forget, Bat Rider's the one with the gem. He'll find Chomi. Wraithfire Blast onto the Bat Rider, but he's already pulled the OD into a poor enough position that they secure the kill. Now Morphling hops forward with the waveform. I don't know that PR will be able to grab another kill, but even just a 1-for-1 support Treant for that solo mid OD is a victory for the Power Rangers.
Yeah, and Exorcism up in 25 seconds, so they may consider going for this tier 2 top.
Yeah,
Bat Rider Lasso's a pretty short cooldown as well, but he's a bit low on mana.
Yeah. Soul Booster up on the DP, so she's really starting to tank up, and Morphling all of a sudden, 3,000 gold on him, so not too far away from the Ethereal Blade, if that will be his next item of choice.
I think even against Skywrath, you still definitely want to go it. It's just the pick off and insta like KO element to it. Like you can if you jump the Skywrath, Skywrath is just instantly dead. A lot of these heroes just don't have the HP to survive an E-Blade combo, and it kind of has that Tinker effect where you just instantly take one hero out of the fight, turn it into a 4v5, and I don't think Skywrath Mage being on the other team is a deterrent enough to not go E-Blade.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see Moon actually man up in the top lane onto Bob, but hops to the Replicate just as he dives the tower, doing some decent damage to the Skywrath, and we'll just rotate and go right back to farming. Inquisitor's farm has kind of fallen off a little bit. He was leading the charts earlier on in this game, and now he's kind of par for the course. Both the Morphling and the Death Prophet well up on him, and still no item progression since he picked up the Maelstrom.
I think rightfully so, was trying to create more space for his... Not even creating space, he was looking to get more active and start going for ganks as soon as he got like his fast phase boots, Aquila, and Wand. But problem was, the ganks failed. Twice they failed to kill the Morphling. If those were ganks on the DP, or if they were successful ganks on the Morphling, then his rotations pays for itself. He's not really the hard carry for the team, but unfortunately the ganks didn't work, and that's where he has definitely fallen off because of the unsuccessful ganks. But I think AlbumSheet realizing they're kind of in a bit of a farm game, Inquisitor will look to kind of focus more on that element of things now.
Yeah, speaking of the farm game, Power Rangers been stacking up their Ancients, and looks like a nice quad stack here as they'll share the wealth around, but get a nice chunk of experience and further their gold lead a little bit here. AlbumSheet had a pretty sizable lead about 10 minutes ago, but all of a sudden Power Rangers closing the gap, and we've got a damn even game on our hands, which is good news for Power Rangers and sort of shows the momentum they've picked up as they are at a 2-0 Midas advantage. The fact that they're taking the gold lead once more just speaks to their movements around the map. Also, they do have the tower advantage as they'll group up down bottom and look to take out a tier 2 perhaps. Moon has now grabbed the Eagle Song, well on his way to that E-Blade as we've talked about. Dire Side will pop their glyph to keep their tier 1 safe, and AlbumSheet will do the same for their tier 2 down bottom. Looks like PR will finish off the bottom tier 2 and then make the rotation top, come to the tower's defense, and they'll get a great trade out of this. A tier 2 for nil, and they will completely repel AlbumSheet with just a couple of teleports.
It's the biggest weakness of this AlbumSheet lineup. Like, they pushed the bottom tier 1 tower in the laning stage with a big creep wave, and at that point Treant wasn't ready to defend towers, but since then they can't push down a single tower. They all get healed up by Treant, and even if they're 5-man pushing and breaking the living armor, they have no real damage to actually bring down the towers, and as a result, that's PR back in the game. And it's going to come back to even as far as the gold, as far as the team net worth is concerned. Is the gold graph now a team net worth graph? Is that a recent change?
Whoa!
It says difference in team net worth.
Wow!
Did Valve actually finally change the gold earn graph to a net? This is if that's. I mean, it says it is. So
I feel like it has. Yeah, I actually didn't notice that either. I
this
really
is so
hope
much
it is.
more useful.
That's a change that I've been hoping for literally years.
Everyone was like, at least every caster was like, this gold earn doesn't show gold loss is the problem. Like, all money spent on buybacks, money lost from dying, like, it just doesn't reflect that. But comparison of team net worth versus team net worth is much more relevant. Holy moly, that shotgun.
Yep, there's that 10 gauge coming out onto the Skywrath Mage, and now Void hops forward. Chrono comes out just on Shotchlo. Moon waveforms forward just as it comes out. He still has the Aegis, so even if Moon takes a tumble right here, it won't be the end of the world for Power Rangers. Overgrowth flies through, and that'll be the end of the Outworld Devourer. Moonlight Shadow was deployed, but won't keep AlbumSheet safe. Will be a 2-for-0 trade. Exorcism deployed to finish off the tier 2 tower. There's no glyph here. So with a 5v3 on the field, this could actually be high ground. OD has no buyback. Shotgun onto the Mirana. She'll fall. And AlbumSheet, all of a sudden, this was an even game, and now they're in shambles. The Wraith King gets picked off. And what do they have to hold? Cheshire Cat grabs Axmo. He has no Chronosphere, and sure he'll be able to time walk towards the mid, but they can just go focus on the top tier 3 tower. Racks are exposed, and they still have all 5 alive with plenty of hit points to spare.
Yeah, you can really see the holes in the album sheet lineup. I think like you can make the OD Void work, but you needed a safe lane hero that did a lot more than a Mirana. You needed something more teamfight oriented, like the kind of like EG style safe lane farming Tide Hunter. You can't really run these 3 cores that just don't have any pushing power, don't have any real ability. I mean, you can stop pushes with a nice Chronosphere, but they just... Mirana's just is kind of like a do very little kind of hero in the same vein that an OD is. They're both kind of these semi-carries that don't really push all that well. So a bit of a strong early game draft as far as the lanes are concerned from AlbumSheet, but as soon as they reach mid to late game, their draft just can't really accomplish too much. It can't get objectives at all.
It can't get objectives, and they also just can't take a straight-up 5v5 team fight unless they do completely crippling damage inside of the Chronosphere. That's it. That's their one-trick pony, and maybe they can drop one person with the Mystic Flare. OD can lay in some of that pure damage, maybe bring down a second target, but after that, you've got a Bat Rider now with a BKB who can pull someone way out of position. The overgrowths have been really on point, something we talked about yesterday and didn't mention in the context of this cast, but if Trian is not caught inside of the Chronosphere, that overgrowth is just crippling to the Void and anyone else trying to do damage in that very small window of opportunity.
Yeah, and PR can just kind of rinse repeat. They've got such a good way to start fights with the Bat Rider. They've got the pushing power of the Death Prophet. They've got the instant burst damage of the Morphling. Like they've got just such a well-rounded draft. Like their draft is at the peak of its power right now, and they're just going to keep on going at AlbumSheet. And AlbumSheet, their only real hope is to take this super late game with a crazy farm Void and OD. And OD just the fact he's had to go for a Lincoln Sphere is going to crash him. He needs a Sheepstick. He needs other like Lincoln Sphere doesn't really. It's kind of like going for that game-losing BKB. Like sure, BKB maybe keeps you alive, but you're never going to win a fight or win the game with such a defensive item as a Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah. And now DP goes into an Assault Cuirass. We'll see this fight break out as Cheshire Cat picks up Inquisitor, takes a silence, but he already gets the lasso off. Mirana will fall to start this fight off. No buyback available on her. Now Big Num coming in, pops the Blade Mail, but it just doesn't do enough. Axmo goes on to Shot Shield. The Mystic Flare just takes the Death Prophet down to about half health, and he'll be A-OK. Even the ultimate from Chomi flies through and just tickles at this point. He simply doesn't have enough int for it to hurt. Moon will waveform forward, brings him down. They'll finish off the Skywrath, and that's it. AlbumSheet say GG, and Chomi pieces out. That'll be game, and Power Rangers take a very convincing win in 32 minutes of gameplay. It looked like it'd be a pretty even one based off the slow start that Power Rangers got, but once that mid-game came around, they put the pedal to the metal, and there was nothing slowing them down.
I mean, one of OD's biggest weaknesses come mid-game is very clunky and just hard to utilize for team fighting or for pushing towers. That's the thing. He's not even that fantastic of a team fighter. So he's a pure just farm carry for the late game. And you can see here AlbumSheet just didn't have the mid-game options to defend or really to fight Power Rangers at all. So well played by Power Rangers and just smart drafting. Yeah,
I feel like this game is a really good example as to why we don't see OD picked up so more. He just doesn't fit into this meta, doesn't really provide too much in the way of anti-push, and in a meta based around knocking down towers and taking objectives, he does not synergize. So another reasonably quick game here, folks. Our next match scheduled to start in just about 25 minutes. Up next will be the Gauntlet of Power Rangers continuing on, but this one's a bit more exciting. It'll be Power Rangers versus Fnatic. This is the debut of the new Fnatic roster in the group stage of Starladder Season 10 in the European Division. So this is really exciting, gods. We've got something to look forward to, and we'll get to see how Fnatic fare out of the gate.
Nice. Looking forward to, Fnatic. They've been doing pretty well with their new roster from what I've seen. So definitely have some hopes for them to do well in Starladder as well.
Yeah, Power Rangers will have their work cut out for them, no doubt about it. So patience is a virtue, folks. We'll be back after this long break with plenty more Starladder action coming your way.